It's good to know that it's unrelated to Katarina. Ugh. Still something to deal with. Great, so now I feel crummy, and... yeah, no, there's just about that. Okay, so... first mail, and I guess we'll see what we can do with our day. What can I do to improve the situation that I'm in? Hello. Cost of points. Mistress A. Fable. Cost of points. Dearest noble scholar, the academy year has only just begun, and the headmaster has made it his mission to seemingly break in the courts in his own way, reducing their hard-earned points not once but twice. Am I about to be indoctrinated? Oh, what on earth? This is the work of a worried academy official, a mastermind, or a tyrant. This author can only speculate, but a question must be raised. Does the headmaster truly wish for the courts to succeed, or does he show bias towards a specific court? I want to go back to bed. The most recent point reduction certainly has put Court Bloodwind, hello, in a much better position. From dead last to second place is nothing to scoff at, although will this noticeable assistance be enough for them to maintain their position? A rumor or two has certainly grazed the author's ears, and from the Academy body's perspective, certain members of Court Bloodwind have forgotten themselves. Can't say I don't agree. And now it comes back to bite us in the ass because none of you can behave yourselves. Awesome. Rosalind seems to keep herself occupied with planning and carrying out social events left and right. Could she be making moves to snatch up this lady in waiting position, or is she scouting for her next victim? And seeing being escorted by numerous bachelors within the academy, is she searching for a suitable match, or simply trying to keep herself entertained? That's such nothing. It's good points to host events. You're gonna complain, then maybe learn that. Only time will tell. Lady Celica DiMartino, on the other hand, prefers the darker company of demons, or more so one demon in particular, Lord Cinder, however you pronounce that, often is seen keeping her company upon the benches of the academy, no matter the weather condition. Only one can imagine the conversations that pairing could have, surely not of any substance. Lady DiMartino seemingly only understands one emotion, indifference. Does she intend Lord Cinder to inch closer to her ice-cold heart? This author can only hope. I sure the hell hope not. I don't know about you, Miss A. Fable, but I would hope not. Cinderloon, stunning lead. This is all other courts. We got off easy. 30 games. There's a rumor being spread around the castle. Author has it on good authority for it to be true. Cassian has given his court an order to hold back their points from the teacher's discovery. Unless obtained within classes, we will not know their true standing. One has to admit this move is a smart one. Never let thy enemy know thy hand. But it's underhanded when the rest of the courts seem to report their achievements fully willingly. So again, they're scum. I don't need a book to know that, but... that said, there is a conversation I need to have. I need to check in on damn raccoons, because I want them gone. And if essentially cheating allegations are coming out, then no better time. I wonder if I can find the headmaster, check back in. Well, Blight. I find Cassian directly then? So did I just see... oh, hello. This is a fancy little number.
Hello.
What's this sexy little number?
What?
What are you wearing?
But hold on, what did you say? Because I heard something else.
What do you think you heard?
I thought sexy little
Have you
number,
not been
and I'm
sleeping?
very concerned. What?
Get little bags under your eyes.
Ignore them.
No.
No, it's fine.
Your hair more blue.
But yeah, no, it's our courts like the
Your
extra
hair has
credit
become
for
more
royal
blue.
code. What?
Your hair has become more blue.
No?
Has it always been this blue?
Yes. I think so.
I don't think so.
Oh.
Here, let me check my photos. No. No,
Then I might have like
it just
made it more blue after I made it red.
extra blue in there.
No, the outfit is the night outfit for royal code extra credit.
I'm sure hoping my court is aware of that because I was informed from a different court. So I'm not entirely sure.
Did I see vampires? I don't know. I did.
I hate to cut our conversation short, but I do need to get something out of the way.
No worries. I will not keep you.
Tragic.
Hello, Paxton.
Good evening.
Hello.
Prince, do you have a moment?
Sure.
This feels like it's overgrowing.
Thank you.
Yes, I've received a complaint about it.
Oh, who's complaining about it?
The same person who made the complaint box.
Who made a complaint box?
We have a complaint box?
I
Where?
removed it because it was immediately moved outside, and that feels...
If any place should have a complaint box, it should be the castle.
Right. No, someone came home and made a complaint box, and then one of our viscountesses decided to move it outside.
Oh.
Okay.
Let's make a private space, perhaps.
This is all you, by the way.
I'll make a safe space.
Have you seen the letter going around the whole academy yet?
I skimmed it. It's mad that Rosalind is social and gaining points. And I think an old information tidbit about Celica and Cinder, and if she's still talking to Cinder, then I hope the sickness takes me out.
Oh, you're sick?
You couldn't tell?
No,
Now
actually, I couldn't.
You flatter me.
If you
still
need
sound
anything,
great.
a tonic, I can whip something up.
Perhaps.
But I will.
So I skimmed our section, and it looked like they truly had nothing. And then it said Cassian cheated, and I remembered that I was due for a conversation.
Yeah, that wasn't the only mention of our court.
Oh boy.
I believe in the sea monster section.
Oh boy.
I was mentioned.
It's not the only attack on a court cerulean air. The author has come to find out the truth about the werewolf attack. Wonderful. Uh-huh.
Don't know how whoever this is found out. Only a certain group of people know.
Hello. Hi. Oh.
Oh, I'm sorry if I'm interrupting something.
Sorry, just having a brief private discussion about some worrying matters.
No problem. I will just see you guys at the castle.
Yes, check your mailbox, by the way. There's an invitation for you.
Oh, okay.
She got an invitation to something and not me? Who all is aware of this, or who all did you talk with?
Well, as you know, best when you Rose. Now, Professor Cribden and Aqua. I highly doubt any of the vampires told anybody else, so my only guess could be the sea monsters.
Interesting.
Rose says she was doing damage control for the most part. People have asked her.
Yes, I've said it was a lie.
Yes, I'd position it as that. They're desperate to claw up anything on us, and so therefore they... look at what is on us. Again, they complain that you're too social.
Yes, I find that very funny.
It's a jest. And then they're complaining about Celica speaks with, and that's also old, outdated as far as I'm aware. So I'd argue it's just another falsity.
Exactly.
Of that.
But Mateus wanted to make you aware before you heard it from someone else.
I appreciate it. I would check with... Obviously, there's a few exempt. You know that I would not speak on it. I trust Vess when you trust Rosalind, I would hope.
Yes.
So that does narrow it down to those two.
Apologies,
Yes.
is this a private discussion?
Yes, for the
A
moment.
bit, yes.
All right, then.
For a moment, I honestly thought she was just going to stand there. And I kind of had to
I
respect
thought so
the gall.
too. Taking her advisor role very seriously.
I need the brain
Did she do
activity
something
right now.
different for bangs?
They seem to be growing out. At least that's all I noticed.
Your hair's getting a little long.
Yeah, I've not cut it in a while.
You want a haircut? I could try.
She's got a bit of a mullet back here.
Try.
I mean, I don't do my own hair.
Who does your hair?
My hair's perfect the way it is. I don't have to do anything to it. I wake up just like this.
You got this. Get to work.
Stand still.
Mm-mm. I'm letting it
That's
grow
your
out.
punishment. That is your punishment. All right, little off the
A little
top.
off the top.
Okay, there you go.
I don't want to be bald.
You're not gonna be bald.
Well,
My hair
have you
is
seen
what
the
gives me
small
all the
round
looks.
spot at the back of his head? The hair's
Shut
getting
up.
a little fainter.
There is no small round spot, Prince.
You can't see, but I got bird's eye view.
Here's
Are
your
you sure
scissors
that
back.
red streak isn't gonna grow white with all this stress going around?
My hair actually used to be brown.
Oh. Is it dyed?
No.
It's all the stress, remember?
Oh.
It was brown when we got here.
I don't think so.
No, you must be misremembering.
Before we get too off the tracks, something that I did want to bring up. Do you think
Not a lot.
Mateus and I were talking about it because we would like to get down to whoever made these and who would have known the secrets. Because not only did they out a lot of things, it was in almost every dorm room's mailbox. So they entered and trespassed. Whoever it was.
Or the mail system worked very well.
You know, that's something that Mateus
Little
did bring
too
up,
well.
but I don't think that the headmaster's that good. So, I don't think he's that efficient with the mail. I'm
If
still
I'm-
waiting
we
on
can
something from
just
2
take-
weeks ago.
If I'm to take any guess, just off court standings in general, if it's coming from inside the house, that would have to be. Well, technically, the most people know about Mateus's incident here in Bloodwind, at least as far as I'm to gather. So in technicality, that's an angle, and also it goes the lightest on us. Samara, we usually keep good relations with, so there's argument that it could be them. Just on, again, how light the writing goes on us. Cinderloon, if it was them, I really think that they would actually find something. I don't believe our relations there are too good right now. And so I think, unless they actually had something scorning that they could put in our section, they wouldn't. I think we are probably their primary, I suppose, rival right now.
Do you think it would be a good idea for Mateus and I to have a talk with Aqua and see if she did say anything to anyone?
Sure. I'd perhaps leave it just to Mateus and Aqua, but might have her
Agreed.
be a little more open.
I could still be somewhere if you wanted protection. But I do agree with the prince.
I highly doubt she attacked me, and if she does, I know how to.
I just don't
Right.
want
And now
you
you don't
to
have as
get
much hair
backed
in your
into
eyes.
a wall.
You did great work.
Well, that was really all the concerns I had brought up, or were thinking about. So,
Yes. My thought would either be, well, anyone but Cinderloon. I think that it's a low chance here, even though it went light. I really doubt that us or Veswin would out that. It might help to try and look into each of these rumors. Didn't read the rest of them besides the demons cheating. So it could be good to perhaps document everything that's listed and try and figure out who would know that.
already a step ahead of you. Got a book and quill here with most of my notes from the first book. If there's something like this, it's only a matter of time before we have another one with even more information.
Perfect.
Well, I know you both have to attend Royal Code here soon, so I
Are
don't wish
you
to...
aware of the extra credit?
No.
No.
Gotcha.
Do you know about... What do you know about extra credit?
Not a whole lot. A member of another court told me that there is extra credit for dressing up in court standard outfits.
I think Celica would know. She was waiting over there for us to be done, and then I think she gave up and then left. Seems you're going to be checking.
Indeed. Yes,
I got
you
divorce
are to-
papers.
Hey, me too. They terrified me yesterday.
I didn't know I was married.
I didn't either. Why was I not at
You
your
learned
wedding?
the damnedest things.
So you got. Who are you married to?
I don't know. But I've been divorced.
Perhaps it's from the both of you. Each half.
Oh.
Standing behind you for protection. Stop looking at me like that.
But we're married.
Evidently not anymore, if so.
Well, if you don't know who submitted the divorce papers and I didn't, then we must be married still.
Sorry, I thought perhaps someone had shat on you flying by.
That would have been horrible.
Wouldn't be the first time.
What?
You haven't told her?
Told her what?
Did you?
Is there something I don't know?
I'll keep your secret.
You
Yeah,
know,
his
that would
mouth
be a
open.
good prank. What?
What?
It was. He's like.
I don't. I can't. Oh god. Oh, I'm going to leave this space so Celica can come and join us without.
The old blood
needing
is
to
apparently
join.
taking her, and she needs to heed its call.
I hate the old blood. They decided to take me. Oh, wanted to let you know that during mob studies, Marjorie did a very, very good job. She went to the aid of a fell folk when they got downed by fighting the Wither. So, if you want to, you know, give her a little bit of praise, I think
Do you know
that's
the
probably a
fell
good
folk?
way. It was Lady Ridley.
Gotcha. Yes, I will see to that.
Yippee.
Did you know that there's a plush in the icy waters in that direction, next to a sign that says that we could have our own if we just agreed to this agreement?
I saw the thing on the board about go to this mysterious location and you can get a plush, but
Yeah, Mateus and I
I had
did it.
survival instincts. Okay, well. Interesting. Good to know.
I like testing my life.
I have. Yes. I understand that much.
That adrenaline that you feel when you know your life's in danger. It's quite
Exactly.
intoxicating. We're going to be the reason why his red streak goes to white.
No, I did not check out the thing myself. So you went there.
Yeah, we took a photo of ourselves. We hit a piece of hair.
That would explain the.
I'm just hoping that it read, whoever it is, the witch or the warlock who's doing it,
Taste, look
read
up.
my little PS.
Frozen. Look at this. See, right in this back corner where it's a little more faint.
He is not balding!
I mean, maybe you are.
That is our prince, Mateus.
Oh. Slander!
And Prince, it's libel.
Oh my god.
You
Oh,
can keep it. My
there
tree.
you are. Oh, okay. I'll take another one.
I'd give it to
So
you,
royal
but
code
I'm
is
worried what you would do.
I already
Oh,
have
you
one.
already have
Oh,
one.
good.
He also has your portrait.
That one gets around, yes. Do you two have roles in mind? I don't know if I was informed of your majors. I have an intense brain fog right now.
sorceress.
Sage?
But sage for us, yes. They call it sorceress.
De Corte.
Okay. For dressing up in those roles, I was told that Lady Violet prepared it for Celica, but I have an outfit laid out for myself. You two are both fashion-oriented. You surely have something you can throw together.
I don't know if I have a sage's veil, but I can try to find something that is
I was
like
given
it.
a bunch of
You have dark gray, right?
brick.
That I believe is how... Brick?
Yes. As much as I hate the color. Yeah, I do have it.
Oh, okay, yes. So I believe that's how my father has things arranged at home at the moment.
I can
So-
put something.
The extra credit is asking others to dress up?
I believe so, and unless whoever I asked, I'm forgetting a name at the moment, lied to me for jest, which would be shocking to me. Yes, I
I'm
believe
just
everyone
hoping
will show
that
up dressed up.
is it. Truth be told, I don't wish to attend the actual class, so I don't want to be there for the whole thing.
Yes, if there's a
But they love your
presentation, we're screwed.
attendance.
Okay, well, meet you there then.
I'll see you back. Okay, that should do. Perfect. Yes. Okay. Fashionable. I've got a silk shirt. Finest of fabrics. All should be good. And she's gone now. There was a Celica sitting there for a moment. Not anymore. Assume the other two have taken off to class. That's nothing. Okay. Let's go then. The least height climb that I could possibly have. I'll go normal. Okay. Truth be told, I get it right now. I don't really want to attend this class either. I frankly want to crawl back under the covers and pass out. What the blight are you possibly doing up there? Genuine freak. He's following me. I've got a sword in my pocket. That came out wrong. Oh good, she made it to class. Neither of them have an outfit.
If I come with me, follow me for a second, please. Both of you.
Okay.
Okay.
I feel so left out.
Either of I told you about the extracurricular, didn't I, Celica?
Look, don't think.
Oh, goodness. We're out of chalk. Does anybody have any, or spray paint? And would anybody be willing to run and grab some? Oh, thank you very much. Fantastic.
I have space for you.
Oh, thank you.
My voice has been very internal. I had a lot of internal thoughts. Stuck way too
Very well.
internal, I'm realizing.
Are we waiting for anybody?
Tragic.
I believe Duchess Aqua is developing the photos.
Very well.
Photos?
Our class starts in a few seconds, so
Why would I?
I hope that she makes it here quickly. Oh. And that is start time. Alright. This is a class which I expect those of you holding high positions to flourish. We're going to be going over societal structure and learning about each other's political systems. But before we get into any of that, some of you will have to excuse the redundancy of basic introductions to the topic for any amongst us less familiar. So let's jump into it. What is a social system? It's a network of relationships constituting a coherent whole that exists between individuals, groups, or institutions. To provide a tiny example, a family. Can anybody give me any other examples of social systems?
I can hardly keep my eyes open.
Yes? Candaris?
Something I've learned about recently is a squad. Part of a military troop can be considered as a societal system.
Indeed. Anybody else? Any other examples? Oh, I am seeing Lady Celica.
Thank you.
Typically, one would think of a caste system, or a hierarchy structure, so to speak. Basically, seeing where you stand in society, who has authority above you, and who is below you, technically.
That would be systems of organizing society. However, that will be something that we're going to be touching on later. However, not an example of a social system as we're trying to search right now.
I'm gonna hang myself.
Does anybody else have any suggestions? Yes, Lady Katharina.
A school, the dynamics between students and such in a school would be a social one.
Yes, that is correct. Anything else? Yes, Lord Silas.
A nation?
Yes, very correct.
No footsteps.
Allow me to write that down with some other examples as well.
Not missing the mark.
Right. Each of these systems form the world around us. As individuals, we, well, blah, blah, blah. Apologies. These systems form the world around us, and each of these systems dictate how we behave around others. I mean, I wouldn't expect you to behave the same way around a ruler of a different kingdom during a summit as you would behave around your mother, for example. Was that a raised hand, or...?
Sure.
Alright, never mind. I wouldn't expect you to behave the same way around friends as you would during a meeting with your court. Unless that is the energy that you wish to build within your court. So, of course, today we will be focusing on the bigger picture. The kingdoms itself, society itself, and, well, the dynamics within our courts as well. Am I good to wipe off the board? Or is anybody still writing?
Sure. We get quizzed.
Sounds like you're good.
Bad things are gonna happen
Wonderful.
to me. Merrily.
So, throughout history, we've had multiple types of societies. Yes? No, okay. We've had multiple types of societies, many of which led to the next. Could anybody in this class explain to me what a hunter-gatherer society is? Oh, yes, that is Aqua.
A hunter-gatherer society is basically just a group of people who do various things such as obviously hunt and gather for food. They're also learned in what things are good to eat, what things are bad to eat, like poisonous things. If, let's say, for example, you find berries out in the wild and you aren't sure if they should be eaten or not, this type of society would be able to pinpoint that and let you know what is good. They'll know what parts of animals are good to eat, what's too gamey, what's not, which animals should or should not be eaten, etc. They function more so like that. I know that with sea monsters, We also somewhat were like that for a while, with us in the past being carnivorous, and then more so as evolution happened, we have turned into more of a vegetarian society. So learning what to eat and what not to eat among the vegetation within the sea is something that we had to learn.
Yes, indeed. That's actually a perfect answer. These societies formed out of the basic need of surviving within a group. However, they didn't have the systems we had in place today. Of course, over time, what developed was pastoral societies. Does anybody have any input on that they would like to share? Also, I would like to request that the person currently in the highest status within their court, if somebody wants to speak, just point out that person to me. So if you see that somebody within your court knows the answer, or you wish to appoint somebody to give the answer, simply tell me and appoint them.
Wonderful.
Silas would like to speak.
Lord Silas?
You said pastoral society, correct?
Yes.
From my understanding, they are nomadic or semi-nomadic on livestock for a lot of things, transportation, food.
Mm-hmm. Can you tell me, perhaps, what the development into, well, first of all, what caused the development of pastoral societies, and what it developed, or even just one of those questions?
I don't fully know the answer, but if I were to guess, I would say they probably lived in areas where it was difficult to grow crops, and it may have been somewhere where livestock did thrive. Maybe
Yes,
not your typical livestock.
Quite close. Essentially, what led to the start of it was the development of basically raising livestock. That's what caused the beginning of pastoral societies. And what pastoral societies also marked was the beginning of occupations, far more specific ones than just hunting and gathering. More specific roles, who does what for the animals, and such like. Moving further into horticultural societies. Does anybody know what that means? And have any input on that? Does any court have anybody willing or capable of answering?
Celica would like to answer.
Horticultural society. I see. Horticultural societies are mostly communities based more around small-scale farming that evolved through said hunter-gatherer lifestyles, and they focus more on organizations devoting to the study of culture and cultivated plants.
Exactly. And tell me, what large difference did it make from pastoral societies?
From what I understand, pastoral societies were more nomadic. They would move based on changing seasons and other such effects. Meanwhile, with horticultural societies, they were focused more on non-mechanical forms of farming and Apologies reading off my notes here. And they focused on simple tools to produce food. However, other than those differences, I cannot say much else.
Because you basically pointed it out. Horticultural societies brought in settling in areas. Which brings us to the next. Agricultural.
Are you hoping for us to
Indeed,
speak about it first?
Indeed, I'm seeing if anybody wishes to answer, as I have with each.
I see.
Leviathan would like to answer this question.
High Chancellor Cassian was saying something first.
Yeah, I think I'd like to answer this question if that's all right.
Indeed. Go right ahead.
Agricultural societies they use large-scale tools. Often animals are involved and kept alongside the agricultural societies. A lot of the times, farming is the main source of wealth inside of one. Places that would store grain or berries through the winter. It also allowed for people to settle down for longer, leading to what I assume will be the next type of society.
Well, we introduced the settling down with horticultural societies. Could you tell me why agricultural societies were considered the dawn of civilization?
Tool use? No, there were tools in horticultural. Perhaps more distinct gender roles? I don't know.
I'll pass the question off to whoever wishes. Whoever holds the most power in the court is allowed to speak at all times. You don't have to raise your hand, just inform me.
Leviathan, our levy would like to still give an answer if that is alright.
Please answer then. Why do you believe that... Well, why is it called the dawn of civilization?
For an agricultural society, we call it the dawn of civilization. I believe... It marked the shift, really, from nomadic hunting, gathering to settled farming. The transition enabled a huge immense of food surpluses and population growth, and development of permanent complex societies. And it acts as a foundation for civilization.
We're getting close, but we also did already establish that we got elements of that in horticultural societies. So we're halfway to the answer. The second part was correct. Does anybody have any extra insight? Very well. Within agricultural... Oh, yes?
Was it due to the accumulation of wealth? I had this in my mind before,
Yes,
but Oh, okay, interesting.
In some parts, yes. That and more time. As more complex structures developed, people began to have more free time. Trade and commerce began to develop. And due to leisure and the development of the humanities, we got craftspeople, we began having distinctive social classes, and it was also the beginning of nobility. Which very obviously leads us towards a feudal society.
If I may answer.
Of course.
A feudal society is based on land ownership, and as you mentioned, as nobles came from previous one, they are much more prevalent within feudal. It typically would have things such as kings and then go down the rankings based on land ownerships, and those with land would have fiefs for more to serve them, helping to accumulate military might as a trade-off for it, or services for it with taxes.
All right. Could you tell me, please, what a vassal owed to a landowner in return for being given land to govern?
I know typically it would be taxes for sure, and then I don't know when type of vassal specifically you're thinking of. When I think of history of Solmera, it typically would be servitude, having manpower and such for more manual projects.
Fantastic. And what about, and what about the people inhabiting the lands that the vassals governed? What did the vassal owe to them, and what do those people owe to the vassal?
What was owed to them was a place to live. By paying their taxes and giving services to the landowner had to provide them places to live and protection.
Perfect answer. Yes, that's indeed exactly that. Does anybody have any different answers that would reflect their own cult in any different ways? Or do things function, or did things historically function the same within each court? It seems things were much alike. And, well, this one is quite a new one, so the answers will likely vary as we're only now entering, well, the beginnings of a more industrial society. So, could somebody tell me, what do you believe a more industrial society will hold?
Leonidas would like to answer this one.
Please do.
An industrial society is one driven by large-scale organization of manufacturing and likely a higher amount of jobs. The more machinery needs to be used, needs to be worked on, the more jobs and more wealth is distributed. And more production for the larger population is provided.
Yes. That is quite exactly that. This is quite a new topic, and I would actually like to ask each court, do you believe that your society is more feudal or more industrial? We will begin with Court Central and go from that side to the other.
Oh, we're entirely industrial. There is no feudal system within Court Syndrome.
With Court Cerulean, or is it my turn?
Yes.
Okay. With Court Cerulean, as of right now, I believe our court is a little bit behind in terms of I don't know if evolution is the right word. But I do know that with you, Della, our place in the industrial sense is being forwarded as you've made great contributions to our court specifically in that field. But I do know that Court Cerulean is a bit behind in doing this, as we only really entered into society about 100 years ago. So I would say, as of right now, we are inching towards more industrial, but we are a little bit more feudal right now.
Cerulean has quite quickly passed through the stages in recent years. That is very true, and it makes where we stand quite difficult to pin down, as it depends on the region. Called Solmera?
I feel as if we might be in more of a transition of sorts. I do think that feudal does describe how we govern very well. Typically, the Solus oversees everything, and then villages and territories are then overseen by specific noble families, and then the responsibilities are to offer that safety and place to live. But we also have been progressing our industrial things. We are very nature-based, but we do not shy away from technology as well, so we have been improving large-scale productions and technological innovations. But if I had to go with one or the other, we are closer to feudal.
And Cold Bloodwin.
You'll have to apologize. I'm keeping this short as it hurts to talk. I'm currently a bit ill. I believe we are closer
You may choose
to...
somebody to speak for you as well.
It's alright. I believe we are closer to feudal. Similar to what Sol Katarina said, I believe that we're somewhat in the middle. But for the most part, I believe we are closer to feudal.
Fantastic. Thank you. Oh, that's the wrong item. All right. So, of course, within each of these systems, a hierarchy exists, and that is what we are going to be introducing each other to. I know that within each of your courts, a different hierarchy exists. And I believe that it is important for us to understand it, as we're all vying for the crown and rule over quite a significant piece of land.
I cannot focus with the purring.
What I would like you to do is please follow me to the ballroom section of the class. Within these chests, different roles within, well, the society of a typical kingdom are written down. These will be missing certain elements that may exist within your courts. For that reason, I did place some blank pieces of paper to fill out within the chests as well. What I wish for you to do is, on these boards, mark out the hierarchies that exist within these kingdoms. Basically, just put people in order that they exist. The iron is commoners, the gold is nobility, and the green is those that rule. If within your society the gold and green overlap, simply inform. If there are any names specific within your courts to, well, what these statuses are, you'll also be explaining that as you explain. If you need to rearrange any of the blocks, please do. I will ask that you split into your courts, and I'll say 7 minutes, but we'll see how quickly you organize. All right? Any questions?
Could you repeat the gold versus green?
Nobility. Oh, a nobility and then the rulers. So in this case, by the rulers, I mean those that instate the rules for the entirety of the lands owned by your court. If this and gold overlap entirely, simply be sure to point that out. Or just, well, put everyone in green. That belongs to those that rule. Alright, everybody ready? Please create your own groups and begin.
What's up, team?
I'm gonna pass.
So, do you want Marjorie and I's help? We don't take this class.
I suppose take an
I
easy
also
break.
I also have an alternative diagram if we wish for that.
An alternative diagram?
Never mind. We
Sure.
shall put it up there. Or I suppose not.
Oh, they're all labeled in here.
What's going on?
I suppose that there are other roles that were not accounted for.
Do we have an anvil anywhere around?
I have one on my person. Give me one moment.
How do you just carry that around with you?
I'm big and strong.
Oh. Such odd names in here. All technicality, I honestly don't believe we have an iron tier. I believe back at home we're all usually wealthy enough. I don't know if it 100% fits. What are they doing over there?
I believe
Trying to make a statement, I suppose.
I was told by Leonidas they believe more in equality in their kingdom, so I think that's what they're trying to say with that.
Yes, the High Chancellor's elected.
Regardless, it doesn't exactly, I think, fit what Charybdin wants, but I mean, we're all higher class. We're all...
I suppose. Well, I suppose that they wish for us to differentiate people based on class, despite the fact that there are certain members of the class.
Change the whole thing to gold.
Yeah.
If I had any on me.
I do.
You fascinate me. Do it.
Do you have the others?
F3.
Yes, the 3 on the bottom there.
I don't know if any of these actually fit up here. Factory workers, I only have farmers.
There are industrialists, so people who work with, in our, I guess, suppose, mechanical industries.
Oh, Felfolk having a pen. Oh, never mind. Fascinating. I suppose that about covers ours.
Suppose so.
Do factory workers and soldiers not exist?
We have knights. At least on the ladder. And off of Zelika's description, would factory workers not be industrialists?
true.
Well, perhaps industrialist means more the producer rather than the people who work under them, so to speak.
Maybe you can change
Since
the
there is
soldiers.
technically the head of an industry, and then I suppose those who work below them.
Sure.
Even in the workplace, there are hierarchies like that.
If you're changing that to knights, we already have knights up there.
I mean,
Oh. There be wood.
This was the alternative that I had mentioned. Do you believe it would be helpful or no?
Advisor should technically be above. I don't see myself on there.
Well, you would technically count as the sovereign, since you are to take that position one day.
There would still
the
be
Viscountess is.
Prince, I believe, somewhere in the picture at least. The majority of the time. The work
Well, in
is...
any case, if you were to ascend to sovereign and not have a child by that time, would that not technically null that position?
For the majority, there's a prince or princess in the picture, so it's just considered there, I suppose.
I see.
Hello. What is that? Oh, it's a backpack.
That is a backpack.
Looks so strange from the back on the anvil. What are you doing to your backpack on an anvil?
Renaming it?
Yeah, I'll give you that.
Oh, thank you. A picture? Yes, alright.
Yeah. We all dressed up.
dressed
Make
up.
sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
you will
12
be
people in the front. No.
Well, you will be presenting that in just a moment as well, so...
Oh, we're presenting our outfit?
Yes, not everyone came with outfits, others came with photos, but this is the topic. Alright, well, get ready for... Are you joining the photos? Alright, center closer to the board. You're off center.
Oh. What do you mean? This is exactly where we're supposed to be.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, Riley, scoot towards Leonidas a little bit more. There we go.
Lovely.
Thank you.
Oh, I'm seeing another. Alright, step away from your boards now. I need to visually see who's done. I don't want to rush people because, oh, yeah, there we go, alright. Alright, fantastic. So, within these presentations, I will be now requesting that the leaders or assigned speakers of each court to explain their board placement, and also for those who have done the extra credit, please explain, well, the visual differences between the classes, the positions, and such, as you explain the hierarchy of your court. Would anyone like to begin?
I think we'd like to begin, if that's all right.
Very well. Since you've done the extra credit, please, in your presentation, include also the visual elements.
Can do. Would you all join me over here?
Sure.
I don't mind being alone,
like the
but
attention
I
to
like when
detail
I'm
that is
flanked
down
by my
arrow.
friends. Thank you. So as you can see,
Everyone
we've
can
kind
move
of
closer.
turned our board a little bit on its head. Because within Sindraloon, the people who hold the most power, the people who are truly in charge, are the common people. Among these, we have regular old mages, people who practice magic but are no, part of the ruling class. Artists, miners, farmers, artisans, a police force, and factory workers. I'm sure there are many other people who would fit into this category, but those are many of the groups that make up the bulk of Emberhold's voting populace. Just above that, we do have a sort of royal light society. We do, of course, still have landlords, people who own land underneath a governor out in some of the territories outside of Emberhold. We have engineers, inventors, people who work hard for a living and make sure that our infrastructure is well maintained. Industrialists, those are people who perform exceptionally well in a certain vertical. Perhaps they're simply traders. Perhaps they own a factory. Who's to say? Ladies in waiting, such as the lovely Riley here. These people make sure that our cities, pretty much everything within them, and societies run smoothly. Landowners, as I mentioned earlier. Knights, we don't technically have a standing military anymore, but within Emberhold, we do have policing forces, and knights would be those who have a higher station, someone who is tasked with guarding perhaps the Chamber of Loon, something more important. And then tutors. Education is highly valued within our society, so we hold them in quite high regard. And then our ruling class consists of high sorcerers, high sorceresses, the rulers, so chancellors, high chancellor, heirs, so people who are brought up well by their tutors to take roles of high positions. And then advisors, those who are capable in any of these other categories enough to provide expertise to those in charge. We like to make sure that our rulers are well informed. As for our outfits, I am wearing that of the garb of a High Chancellor. This is about 200 years out of date, but I thought it might look nice, so I wore it. Would everybody else like to say what they're wearing?
Sure, I can start. I'm wearing what would be considered sort of like a simple sorcerer's garb, probably more along the lines of those of the common mages that you'd normally see at the time. But I know of some pictures we have dating back of some high sorcerers that preferred to dress more drably, even though they had high station. They enjoyed just having simple enough clothing, nothing too extravagant, because they're wizards.
Next, I am wearing technically a modified hafu, as it's more simple looking, as it is mostly for daily wear to get used to running around, doing chores, etc. And also a hairpin, as most of lady in waitings are known for flora and flowers.
I guess mine is a little bit more recent in our factor of, I guess, policing. Not fully accurate because really been around much, to be honest. But yes, I guess what we would consider, or I guess generally what a knight would be, I suppose, within reason.
I'm wearing what would typically be worn by an advisor, which is still worn, but we more delegate them as teachers rather than royal advisors.
May I ask, of the things that you are wearing?
It's not that bad.
It was already highlighted that with the mage garb, there are no official elements to it. This is simply what can be typically expected. As for the High Chancellor garb, actually every other outfit, are there elements of it that officially have to be worn? What are some elements?
Yes. My hair.
Yes.
It would have been required couple hundred years ago that any long-haired individual who held my position put it up, and so I have. The belt is also required, but it changes year to year what color the belt is. I chose purple because it complements me well.
I see. And that would be an official way of telling that you're looking at a High Chancellor.
Mhm.
What about the Lady in Waiting? How would we be able to tell that we're looking at a Lady in Waiting by the outfit? What's the specific elements?
Well, when the coat I'm technically wearing is a visor, it's basically more like protection over like other coats in case of the weather. But as well known as one year round, it's more floor as you know as the patterns aren't in the blue because most hafus are really detailed. But if you notice, my patterns aren't. That is more typical, as we're not presenting ourselves to outside of our stations.
I would like to ask about the uniform then. Is it exactly what it looks like, or are there variants?
There's variants. It's based on some on the taste.
Oh, I meant the police uniform. Apologies, your answer was very satisfactory.
I mean, also kind of correct, I suppose. Frankly,
yes.
I suppose how we view it, and Cassian can tell me if I'm wrong, is more the factor of it being more casual, movable, being able to keep up if anything is happening, to be honest.
It also depends on what house they're working for, what city they're in. I know that obviously working very closely at Emberhold Citadel, they might have more armor or more, obvious weaponry, but just out in the city, more plain clothes, as Dante said, to be able to move around is preferred.
And looking at someone of this stature, how would we be able to tell that they hold an official position versus just dressing casually?
You wouldn't always, to be honest with you. Generally, if you were needing to tell, there would be some sort of insignia, but I don't think Dante had access to one.
Of course. And for the advisor outfit?
Pretty much the same as that has already been said for a lot of these, but detailing is typically advisor positions. They are able to have more detailing and more elaborate designs to their outfits, but they are also not as form-fitting and full covering. Even the hands are covered.
I see. Oh, thank you very much. Who would like to present next?
Lord Sterling could go next.
Oh. I had two people speaking at once.
It's alright, I can go after Court Cerulean.
Would you prefer to go first, or I do not mind?
I'm content with waiting.
Alright, thank you.
spoke before I did.
Very well. Court Cerulean, please present.
For Court Cerulean, within our court with us, like I mentioned before, we've only been ruling for the last 100 years, we've only entered society within the last 100 years, meaning within the last 100 years, we've only started to form sort of a ranking system, so ours is very bare bones, and what you would most likely see from a court or a kingdom that is just starting to form itself. So up here we have rulers in the very first slot. To us, that would equate to the crowned or grand duke. Currently we have a grand duke ruling. Then we have heirs. Head heir is referred to as crowned duchess, and then the rest of us are just referred to as duchesses. With the advisor, they are just called advisors. And then next we have ladies in waiting. And then after that we have royal or high sorcerers. So depending on nobility or family line, a lady in waiting or a high sorcerer could be flipped. It just depends on what line that they come from and what nobility they are coming from. But as of right now, with the current Lord in Waiting that serves the Ondine family for my father, he is right after an advisor. High sorcerers, usually these types of they do magic, they study magic, they come up with it. They also study medicines as well, and comes up with any sort of distribution of those medicines. General commanders within our court, these are the heads of our military, and they are considered a ruler, but very last in the line. And then nobility for us would go knights, as they serve under our general commanders. Knights, since they protect us, they give up their lives in order for the everyone essentially to live safe. They are ranked the highest of nobility. Mages are next in line, as they also serve under our general commanders, but they are more so backline rather than right up in front. Then we have industrialists. Within our court, we are very quickly going into an industrial era, and within our court, these people are ranked as nobility, as they are bringing in a lot of profit within our kingdom, and this is new, so we are wanting to recognize them in all of their endeavors. After this are landowners for us, because they own land. They they basically watch over commoners for us, and then from landowners they can directly, talk with advisors, and the rulers are the high or grand duke. And basically, it's basically a connection between the rulers and our people, and then the landowners are the ones who, distribute things such as goods, foods, materials, clothing, etc. It's just a little stepping stone for us. Then we have soldiers, who once again serve underneath the general commanders. And then soldiers and knights for us are a little bit different, because knights directly get orders from the royalty, but soldiers are just a tier lower. They are still trained. They always have the ability to rank up into knights. And then we have artisans, artists, factory workers, and farmers. But our commoners, I would like to say, or the people who we take care of, they all rank about the same. There's no order to this. They are all essentially the same. With our extra credit, because we don't have many people here to show off all of the different ones, I can place down. Can I place down some blocks here?
Yes, you're more than welcome to.
Thank you. I have some photos. This is what I got.
If you could place it down next to.
Next to?
Yes.
Okay. I gotcha.
I wish for the boards to stay unobstructed. They will stay up after class.
Next to. Cool. Okay, so if Silas could come up here with me. For Silas, my father has been very generous as to lend us some of his own clothing. This is the clothing of what a Grand Duke would wear on land. And I say on land specifically because this fabric is very heavy, and it is very warm in there, right, Silas? And the heavier the material, the thicker the fabric, the more expensive it is. So you'll be able to tell distinctively between each role because of the type of fabric that is used within their clothing. Specifically, I say on land because within the water, heavier fabric is obviously going to weigh you down a little bit more. So underwater, we do wear specific different things like looser fabrics, more flowing fabrics. But on land, specifically for this, I'm just giving the on land ones. But basically, picture this, but more flowing garments, things that will let us move better in the water, lighter fabrics, something a little bit more sheer. But this specific outfit is made with gold accents, gold equaling royalty or nobility. And then I believe this is something in terms of a velvet material. For heirs like myself, like a duchess, I am currently wearing this specific outfit. This is something I would just normally wear in the manner where I live. This is, like I said, a little bit heavier material. The sleeves are a little bit more sheer, but once again, embellishing with the golden accents representing nobility or royalty, anything like that. So that is, this type of theming. You also notice a lot of blues and greens representing the sea and other types of things. With advisors, I have a picture of what those types of clothing would look like. Moira beautifully displayed a advisor outfit for me earlier, and with advisors, they are very kept together, very prim and proper, very put together, if you could say, usually representing themselves with a tie, like how with our school uniforms. Usually a corset is worn in this case for a advisor, with a female clothing op. This is what we have as a representation here. And once again, there would be gold access embellishing this, and this is once again in a deeper blue. This material a little bit less heavy. This is more sort of a wool type of material. With a what's next? Lady in waiting? Levy, if you could please come up here with me. With a lady in waiting, with how you can tell them apart. Lady in waiting is once again the gold to embellish to signify royalty. There is a little bit less gold on this one, just because Levy prefers this type of outfit. So this is basically dependent on like what you prefer. Levy, you can explain on why you've chosen this specific outfit if you would like.
Very comfortable and easy for me to move around in with this outfit. I am able to cook plenty of dishes if any of my duchesses require it at a moment's notice, and I can quickly get to place and get what they require at a moment's notice as well.
Just like that, you
and the
honestly
apron
think
is
you're
convenient
tripping
for
over it.
multiple pockets to store things.
If you're moving quickly, that is.
Yes, thank you. Once again, a more so like wool material. A lady in waiting could also be considered in height of fashion, as our lady in waitings also do help us with getting dressed, so they keep up with latest trends, stuff like that, to make sure we are, staying in touch with fashion, I guess. And then for a royal sorcerer or sorceress, I only have a female perspective. So this is me. I put on what a high sorceress type of outfit would kind of look like. In the back of this is actually a very long cape, signifying a more so like flowy material actually, but this is a little bit easier to move around in. Obviously with high sorcerers, they are going to be experimenting a lot with different like substances, materials, like ingredients. So they want to wear something that they're not going to be upset getting a little bit dirty, if I'm going to say that. And obviously, the gold accents once again another type of blue aesthetic. Blues and greens and cyan and teals are very, very
Fantastic.
they're very, very prominent within all of our clothing. And high fashion, once again, you can tell that there is a corset on because for some reason corsets are wonderful. And then for I'm sorry. For general commanders, Paxton, if you want to come up with me. General commanders are knights. There's not much to distinctly tell the difference between the two within our court. Essentially this, but golden metal, if that makes sense. Once again, gold for
golden medal
nobility
is
or
metal,
royalty.
not, it's
So
gold, not a
with
medal.
Paxton, he is wearing what a knight would usually wear, very much covered to make sure that none of the extremities are like hurt in battle. But also you can see that it's broken up into different pieces, so that way they still have excellent mobility, especially if they get thrown into water within something like this. They can just, swim out very quickly, so they still have that mobility if they need it. So yes, and then I believe with commoners, also did have Paxton wear something that a farmer would most likely wear. This is just something that you would see Paxton wearing around. This is just one of his outfits. He very, 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 very common, but also very nice. With our commoners, the material is obviously going to be less heavy. I believe this is cotton material instead of the wool. So, the lower down the ranks we get, the less expensive or less sought after materials are going to be used within this clothing. More so just for cotton is easy to mass produce in most cases, as well as wool, but something like a velvet or anything like that will be a little bit harder to mass produce.
sense.
So, so yeah. Once again, very normal outfit of what you would see on land for us. So, yeah, that's basically it.
That was incredibly in depth.
I am so sorry if I spoke too much.
No,
but
that
I
was
wanted to
that
be
was
as
incredible.
thorough.
I did
I
not
wanted to-
expect that, but that was incredibly in depth, and I very appreciate that.
Yes,
All
I wanted to
right.
be as thorough as possible. Mhm.
Well, 2 boards left. Who would like to present next?
I would.
Very well. Please go ahead.
If you two would like to come up with me as well. I'll go through the outfits and such as I go through roles. I have paintings prepared, and they do take up quite a bit of space. But to start with, at the top of our society is what would be rulers is our Solus, and should the partner they take have the twin-tailed trait, they would be the Lunaris, and they oversee everything in the region. Almost everything comes to them. And here is 2 things you might see should it be for women's wear. They set themselves apart with the layers. In general, Solmera nobility Solmerans wear lighter fabrics. We are very mobile as an origin, as a court as a whole. We need to be flexible and movable. So our outfits may be sheer, they might be lighter, but to differentiate ourselves, the Solus would typically have more layers, more embellishment. They have, on the right, there is something that a Solus might wear. They would have at a formal event, have the sun circlet. They have sun embellishments and jewels on the apparel, the gold jewelry, and there is 4 or 5 different layers to this skirt, shorter layers so it's not weighing her down, but layers nonetheless. And for the Lunaris, they have the moon sigil on them, and all the accessories is not present on there because I did not want to hide the fabric layers, but there is the belt layer, there are extra layers of fabric in the back, and the flowy fabric representing it, but they would also wear heavy amounts of jewelry and accessories to represent the moon. Followed by them is the souls and loons. So I am wearing what a soul would typically wear. It is one of my common dresses. Typically, a soul would wear a lot of our court colors. We wear golds, orange, we will wear browns, and lots of golds. I nearly always will be wearing gold jewelry and accessories on my fabrics unless a event calls for differently. Next would be the high priestesses. The church has heavy influence in our region. And Tavali, if you wouldn't mind explaining your outfit, because that is what she is representing.
I'm wearing the outfit typically worn by the the student or future successor of the Velara, which is our high priestess. This typically has obviously the blue fabric representing the moonlight, as the Velara herself would be representing sunlight, and therefore be wearing more yellow, brighter dresses, a bit more flowy with more sun accessories. This one itself is more identifiable by the blue fabric, and the belt itself has a sun and moon sigil engraved on it. Your normal regular priestesses would be wearing white dresses with a much lighter blue laid over it, and the acolytes themselves would just be wearing regular white dresses with minimal accessories.
Thank you. Next up would be the court positions within our court. These aren't necessarily in a particular order. All of them are hand-selected by the solist whenever they come into power to serve them. So ladies-in-waitings, advisors, our knight captains, and our archmages, which would be our term for our high sorcerers. And let me get that painting put up for you. So all of these roles typically hold the equal power. On the far left would be a common wear you might see for lady-in-waitings or advisors. Typically they are differentiated with having more modest clothing. In this case, I have them wearing oranges and such, but they are not restricted by colors. However, if they're attending a formal court event, typically they will be wearing the orange color. It is more modest, but it still has the gold accents, it still has embellishments, and it still has layers. It does not have as many embellishments or layers, so they are not on the same par as the Solus gowns, but it's still fine and quality fabric with the detailing to set them above you might see for other nobility in commoners. And it is something that Lady Daphne is currently wearing, if you want to add any more to it.
I believe you said pretty much everything that needed to be said.
It was quite clear.
And as I mentioned, embellishments and such, Lady Daphne actually always wears one. Upon her head, she has a moon accessory. The quality, the gemstones of the accessories is how you might be able to tell the status of someone within the court. A higher nobility within the court will have more embellishments, finer quality, will have more gemstones, and then as you go down the social ladder, it will be, I guess, suppose less fancy, I might be the word to use for it. You'll see a lot of common styles and trends among nobilities and the commoners because the fashion trends do trickle down. It is just a matter of how fine quality it will end up being. In the middle, I have what you might see the Archmage wear. It is typically a personal preference. Some Archmages prefer to be in more movement-oriented clothing, and others, as our court values grace, prefers to actually limit their mobility with confidence in their magic prowess. They don't have to wear blues. This is just a sample of it. If they were to attend a formal court function, they would choose orange or blues for the sun or moon. And then for Knight Captain, this is not a representation of a Knight Captain wear, but should it be, it would have brighter armor for it. There would be more embellishments to it to show their status, and there would be a cape. Moving on to the gold section of our other nobility, we have knights, magic knights, and then we have where we place cats in our society. Many hear us refer to any cats we see as lords or ladies, and it's because they do officially hold a noble rank within Solmera. This is what you would see a knight or a magic knight typically wear. They value mobility. They will wear things such as leathers and chainmail, so they might be more agile within their combat. You will also see others have more full-plated armor, but it has to be very specially tailored to them to not limit their mobility, and it is not as common due to not wanting to make the noise that it might cause with the clinking of plates. And then I did skip over one of the green, but it's because this is actually something that will go between orange and green. It is pillars the pillars of Solmera are the representation of the prominent noble families. They don't necessarily have a ruling over the rest of the court, but they do have influence in their own sections and territories. So they would, I suppose, be similar to the landowner's position that was in the chest. They would be just the rest of the nobility that isn't really covered by the other roles. They, once again, flowy fabrics, extra layers, but not as many layers as the higher court. And for commoners, we have most other roles you had. There's the mages, there's artisans, artists, industrialist, farmers, factory workers, and landowners are also included down here because not all landowners are nobility. We do have the independency of it. They might have a lord specifically they serve, but they do have the rights to their own property. I will add, all of these positions, they can work their way up to nobility. We are very merit-based. If your family is renowned for a certain style of things, such if your family has been in a business for generations, and if you are the common name associated with that business, your family might be able to make your way into noble status. The knights up here, actually, typically, if you're not from a noble family, all of our knights are commoners originally, if they were not born into nobility. Whenever they officially gain knighthood, they are granted a title. It is not hereditary, but they are granted it. And if throughout generations a family consistently becomes knights, they may earn a hereditary title to share among their family.
Fantastic.
And how the commoners, this is the last photo, typically would be seen is, as I mentioned, fashion trends trickle down through the chain. You will see them if they're at formal events. If the Solus is hosting an event and commoners are invited, you will often see them follow the trend of wearing oranges or blues or yellows. But it is obviously not required of them, and they're more daily wear. And many of our court's daily wear will be a variety of colors, as you might see us wearing throughout the academy. But these are just examples of things they might wear. Their clothing typically may not always be as light as fabric as upper nobility because they need it to be more durable for working and labor. But they still like to follow the graceful trend of the court and represent beauty with their outfits.
All right, thank you very much. That was wonderful. And if Court Bloodwin could please present.
Again, you'll have to apologize. I'll probably keep it a bit brief as, again, I am a bit ill. But to start with, I'll address the obvious. We don't exactly have an iron tier. We have our court, and then we have the general populace, I suppose. As vampires, we don't exactly have many of the same needs that others might. We have a very limited diet, and this keeps us from having to have standard farmers or much of the usual facilities that a civilization might need. We raise cows for their blood, and we have smaller farms to tend to that, but for the most part, we're able to retain a lot of our wealth. We don't need a whole lot imported, but we do have a lot that we can export. As a result, most of us in Bloodwin are usually of higher status and wealth. We are not often lower class, I suppose. So, at the top is the Sovereign, and I will take a page from Solmera and explain the outfits as well as the role. The Sovereign, as modeled by yours truly, is usually more avant-garde in fashion. Fancier fabrics, stuff like this velvet scarf or this silk shirt. There is nothing required, but there is, of course, just the usual standard and traditional. There is, of course, the passover from sovereign to prince or princess, which is necessary to, I suppose, explain the fashion. When a sovereign ascends, they will have an initial golden period of sorts, where they are the most active that they will be in their career. However, once they settle down with a partner, have a child, the prince at around age 7 or 8, as soon as they are deemed ready, will start taking on responsibilities, perhaps attending public gatherings, or having a say in decisions, attending certain meetings. And as the prince or princess ages, they will take on more and more responsibilities. The idea is to prevent any sudden or drastic change in power. The prince or princess is slowly inheriting these duties. So by the time that the sovereign steps down or passes, the prince is virtually already able to take into the role. Thus, the sovereign, as their career progresses, has much less responsibility, of course, as it's passed over to the prince or princess. And with this extra time, the focus is usually on the arts, which, to loop back around, comes down to fashion a lot of the time, or music, or paintings, or the like. So the fashion of the sovereign usually reflects that. Usually they will never be seen in the same outfit twice, as the advisor, or I suppose in this instance, a sort of stylist, will make sure that something fresh is worn every time. Of course, then it passes down to the prince or the princess. The fashion is much the same, more fashionable. They, of course, make more and more public appearances as time goes on. And looks are a lot of public appearances, so high fashion is the goal. Of course, then it goes down to the viscounts or viscountesses. Those are selected usually from higher noble families, perhaps families of advisors or knights or sages, the like. It is a role that is selected usually a few years into the prince's life to match them in age. A viscount or viscountess is usually a role that supposes in case of emergency. Should anything happen to the prince, one of them will step up. And of course they then learn as a understudy. They will usually not make any of the decisions in the prince's place, or of course even the sovereign's. They will just be learning alongside, shadowing the prince. Their fashion is usually, as modeled here by Violet, if you'll step forward. Modeled usually in red accents, as to have the prince or sovereign stand out. So you'll see it's a very darker outfit, but accented by this red line on the bottom. Yes, please give them a spin. Moving on to the advisor, which the fashion, as demonstrated here by Celica, is much more practical. It is less oriented on fashion and more on what the role requires. The advisor is the right hand of the sovereign, usually tending to anything that needs tending to. They are duty-bound to outline events, meetings, anything that the day may require. They are, I suppose, responsible for learning everything that the court may need, and figuring out priorities, and delegating responsibility. As such, the fashion is very, what would it be? As I said, practical. If we were to, of course, usually outfit our advisors in dresses, when they're running around all day, they are more likely to perhaps trip on those dresses, and that would throw off their responsibilities. So, as is the usual, pants, and boots, and less flowy clothing, items that won't be caught on door frames, is the usual outfit. Moving along to the sage, as modeled by the lovely Rosalind here. Step forward. is much simpler. Rosalind here has a sort of veil, usually in a silver. The sage is responsible for magical studies, or the arcane. I believe sorcerer or sorceress would be the term you all would use to describe it. They are the keeper of knowledge, so to say, so they both will handle studies of the arcane and also historical documentation. Their role is, again, similar to the Viscount or Viscountess, one that you hope you don't actually need to call upon for. The sage will tend to, I suppose, medical needs, if a Decorte can't, for example, handle it, if it's something much more urgent. So, for example, if I were to, as a child, fall and scrape my knee, that is a matter a Decorte could handle too. However, if I was reckless and ambitious and climbed a tree, fell out, and perhaps broke my arm, that is something a sage would handle. More urgent matters. And the outfit here reflects it, just in the fact that the sage is usually kept away to their study. They are usually documenting or experimenting or keeping to themselves. They are a role that you do not see or hear for the most part. Thank you, Rosalind. Moving on to the Decorte, we have Mateus modeling it. Again, we don't keep a strict dress code by any means. The Decorte is, I suppose, the closest we get to that. The Sovereign will usually outline, I suppose, how they see the Decorte, which, to clarify for the rest of you, may be more commonly referred to as a lady or lord-in-waiting. My father, the current Sovereign, has outlined more that Decorte should be the invisible hand that keeps things clean, and thus they are usually in a darker gray, something, I suppose, again, for utility, quicker movement, and this more so blends in with the walls of the castle. The Decorte hold up our daily maintenance. They will clean, they will help prepare events, or if they need to perhaps fetch something, they are the ones that are going to be running across town. Their labor is quiet, but it is essential, and we very much uphold them. Moving on to the knights, we have two classes, so to say. We have the High Knights. We had a Marjorie here at some point. I'm unsure as to where she went, unfortunately. We have the High Knights, which are the inner line of defense. They're selected from the most dedicated and disciplined of the general knight force. They are to, I suppose, oversee areas and keep an eye on their individual, I suppose, squads. And moving down to the knights themselves, they are the eyes and the ears. We have a very respect and honor-driven culture, so we don't run into many lawbreakers, usually. Our rules on punishment are usually quite strict enough to dissuade anyone. So the knights are more of an informant than anything. They are to patrol and keep an eye on the populace, report anything that they hear that might be troublesome or of note, and report that back to their High Knight, who, should the High Knight view it as important, may relay it to a Decorte or an advisor. The knights are usually outlined or outfitted in white, as it is a art, so to speak. It sets them apart from the general populace, and also, should battle come up, blood stains white the easiest. And as such, it's a signifier of sorts. A well-decorated knight may have a closet full of various white uniforms soaked or stained in blood, creating their own individual portraits. It would be a waste of blood otherwise. We have a unique respect to it, for reasons I'm sure no one has any clue as to. As for our common folk, again, they keep a higher class. We're all quite wealthy, usually. Again, We don't require much of the same facilities. However, we will still, usually common folk at least, wear more luxurious materials, and a lot of, I suppose, our exports are used in fashion as well. The cows often result in a lot of leather coming up in the fashion. Thank you. However, it, I believe, is also signified by a lot of embellishments or accessory. That is the true difference. So, to refer back to Celica here, you'll see that she has a headpiece. One that, at times, the female advisors have worn as a significant, I suppose, decoration. I myself have worn the rose crown and this bracelet. Accessories are truly more of a wealth signifier. But that said, I think that about covers us. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I'm gonna pass out.
That I did not expect this much detail. However, I'm not complaining. Thank you very much, everyone. I will say that is about the conclusion of the class. I'm not gonna make us walk back. I'm going to simply say the homework, so please write it down.
Homework. Great.
So, first of all, if everyone could leave a sign marking which court which arrangement belongs to. But afterwards, as your homework, I wish for everyone to write about the mobility of their individual societies, as well as, well, what each social class owes to the other social classes. As mentioned before when we were talking about the feudal system, we talked about who owes what to whom. What does each group provide to the others? What justifies the power that certain groups hold? I would like that written and turned in at the latest of the day of the next Royal Code.
Awesome.
And the best one of each court will also be displayed with, well, I'm going to take pictures of these later, and this will be displayed within this classroom, and the best essay will as well be displayed. For those wearing, after class, for those who are wearing their court outfits, I would like to take some pictures, but that's just a general thing. Does anybody have any questions for today? I will take that as a no, and I will declare class dismissed. Oh, wait, oh, I'm seeing someone, yes?
Will you post the homework on the board as well?
Yes, I just need to write it down right now. I don't want to drag you along. The homework will always exist on the boards all the way up to the next class in both my classes.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. If those who haven't had pictures yet could stand by their boards, I'll take some quick pictures. And you're welcome to leave the group at your leisure. Class dismissed.
When did he get here?
You should probably stand in front of the chest.
Use the sign. I don't have a sign on me, so this.
Ah.
Oh, do please keep up, though.
Deus, get over here.
Professor, will it be individual essay or group?
Individual, please.
Something did fall. Give me a moment. What exactly was on the bottom? Or at least I got an item frame.
I think it was just item frames.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it was likely just an item frame.
Okay.
It's a nice photo, is it not?
All right. Do you think we are
Is
good?
that appropriate?
Do you just have multiple that you carry on you at all times?
It's unfortunately my last one.
If you have developed film, you likely can print another.
Indeed.
Well, I am going to go change.
No, but
I
it
did
looks
not
so good
expect
on
to
you.
be here for the whole class. Well, I hope to be one once this is all over. So, maybe you'll see me in again.
Perhaps. You all did a wonderful job modeling. Thank you. And
Of course, Your Highness.
Everyone that spoke up in class, I appreciate that.
Shall we go?
Yes.
Anyway, are you feeling well enough for a discussion?
Potentially. We need to discuss with Cassian.
I see.
I have a brief question for a week later. Wonderful. I was just about to ask that to Cribden.
I see. I'm sure it's already come to your attention about, well, what was found in the mailboxes today.
Indeed.
I see. I've also had a chat with the headmaster, and I believe I should relay some of that information to you.
That would be good. Perhaps after our conversation with Cassian.
Of course.
To the library. Maybe this illness is good. It's gonna help me keep my mouth shut in this meeting. Perhaps everyone in my court needs to be ill.
Have you any idea where Lady Blackwood ran off to?
I was told that she may have been taken by the old blood.
I see.
Have a seat.
In any such case, should we make a space in the meantime?
Indeed.
Sounds
I'll
like a
prepare it.
fantastic idea.
How many did he bring with him? Welcome. Please take
It's good to see you. Candaris is probably just gonna stand. He's we've just been sitting all class, so
fair enough.
Anyway, we might as well just get right to the chase. You mentioned that you wanted Cinder gone, right? I believe you mentioned expulsion.
Interesting to bring
but
him here.
I am hoping you're interested in considering suspension temporarily. We've discussed it, and I think it would be nice for Cinder to go home and get some medical care. He had a nasty little spat with some bruises last month. I'm not sure if you saw, but I think there could be some underlying condition. What are your thoughts?
If he needs medical care, I think that would be a wonderful idea. It would certainly satisfy the criteria.
Okay. I also think, just in case you were unaware, the headmaster has made it quite clear that he wishes to take points for Cinder entering the dorms. Trespassing is against the rules as they were set forth when we arrived, and while I personally have reservations with defining his crossing over of a threshold by, a meter or two as trespassing, when he likely just wanted to leave a note for you. But the letter of the law is important, and the headmaster has already expressed a desire to deduct points. So I think you'll be happy with the outcome here.
Yes, I believe that satisfies all conditions.
How long would you like me to be in this medical care for?
I suppose until you're well would be the usual
No, I
definition.
need a number. We require a number.
I see. I can't say I'm exactly familiar with what ails you. It certainly throws a wrench in things. I don't want to outline
Correct.
any time too short, but... Well, I believe you would be more familiar if you believe he requires medical care on what it would actually need. This is news to me that anything actually is medically unwell with him.
I don't know that something is. I'm not a doctor myself. Lady Celica, do you remember last month when Cinder was... I don't even know what to call those markings. I did call it bruising, but...
If I may speak then?
Yes.
I do recall when he was unwell, he did have those markings. However, he would not tell me how he got them, only referring to it as an incident. So, unfortunately, the origins of the injuries I am not aware.
Well, that's another thing that concerns me. I don't know how long it should take. Truthfully, we have good medical care, but that also depends on if it's something that they are familiar with, and it's not something that is familiar to me on surface level, so hard to say. Perhaps a month? 2 weeks to a month?
It's about what I was thinking, a month to perhaps diagnose and figure out exactly how long it may take.
In that time, perhaps you should get him examined more thoroughly.
Indeed.
Check his cognitive functions and all.
He's calling him stupid.
I'm sorry. Is
How do you feel
the
about
headmaster not going to be attending?
As far as I am aware, the headmaster is away on business. He informed me of it yesterday. It is a recent development.
Very well.
Besides, it looks better for, I suppose, both of our courts if we're handling this without Everthorn needing to meddle. I believe you brought that up first.
That is what the headmaster hoped for.
Indeed.
I do have one request. And I hadn't even told this to Cinder yet. Upcoming on the 20th, we'll be celebrating the Demon Lunar New Year. It's an important celebration, and I wish for my cousin to be able to participate. I only ask that he not be required to be sent home until the 21st. It's a day of rest for us, so he can use it to travel.
You're requesting he stays another month?
It would be
Or
2 weeks, about 13 days.
Would it be possible to have him travel back?
I believe it would.
If he were to be sent home in the following few days here, he travels back around the 19th, 20th.
We can do that.
Sure.
Would you allow me one day to gather my things? And say goodbye to people such as Paxton, for example.
I don't see why not.
Wonderful.
Okay, I see a reason why not.
So, just So we're clear. I'd be welcome back on school grounds on March 7th.
If you were taking a day, then it would be March 8th.
My apologies. You are correct. March 8th.
Yes, I believe so. And briefly around the Lunar New Year.
Then I can agree to these terms.
You're the one being punished! What do you mean, agree to these terms?
All right.
Very well. And you'll have to understand my apology. I, again, wasn't aware anything was medically unwell, or potentially even medically unwell.
Okay.
It's all right. I have put it off for far too long myself. My fondness for Cinder has
swayed your
stayed my
judgment
hand.
all too far much, yes.
Oh, that's really sweet of you.
No, Kiss. Your cousins don't do that.
Anything else?
No, I believe that would conclude things. Myself and Celica have some things to discuss, so we'll probably sit around, but...
All right.
Thank you for your time.
Of course. And thank you for yours. Good to see you, Lady Celica, as always.
Lastly, we do have
course.
a sanctuary, I've been told, and that is where the raccoons will be moved.
Ah,
be acceptable.
Wonderful.
Yes.
It shall. Thank you.
Perfect.
Indeed.
All right. I'm glad we've got this matter handled. See you around.
See you. Disgusting. Get out of my sight. Get out of my sight. Get out of my sight. You. Nasty. Get lost. Alright. We should be alright now. What did you wish to discuss? Apologies.
Are you quite alright?
Slightly ill. Nothing too grave, I've learned, so.
I see.
Did you do your hair different?
It is the same it has always been.
Your bangs look longer.
It is perhaps a little different.
I see. Are you alright yourself? You are free to speak truthfully if that's something that I need to order.
I...
And should you wish for more private space, we can move.
I suppose it would be a better idea. Too many bodies passing through.
Indeed, I did see multiple people walk in and immediately backtrack.
Thumbs up. For extended period of time.
They always one-up me. Dive off the side because I'm exhausted, and then they immediately try and fly in front of me. We can go to my quarters. They're a bit messy at the moment, but...
Of course. You haven't had any more effects stolen?
I hope not. Go ahead.
If you truly wish to know why it changed, I had to abruptly go back to court.
Yes, I read your letter.
It would seem that my grandfather has sent somebody to monitor me. He found that Court Bloodwind had been in last place by the time he had been reported back to. And I had never seen him so angry. It was simply a result of my own failures, I suppose.
I would argue we have a whole court here. And you've only taken into an acting advisor position as of recent. Would you agree?
Indeed.
I believe that there's always more that anyone can do. To a point. I don't think everyone needs to do everything that they can. I could spend a few sleepless weeks and make sure our kingdom building is done months ahead of schedule. Do I need to? No, but it is something I, or Rosalind, or Mateus, or Sabrina, or Veswin, anyone could take that on. They don't need to, so while I believe, sure, you could blame it on your own failures, you also have to consider that at a point it becomes ridiculous. I believe that you've been doing quite well in your role. And if my satisfaction as the prince isn't enough for you, then I hope you find something that helps you.
It was not enough for grandfather, that's sure.
And what member of the court is he?
We are a family of Decortes.
And where did that fall on the hierarchy? Because I believe it went sovereign, advisor, prince or princess, viscount or viscountess, times 2. And then to the sage.
It would be advisor, sage, Decorte, and then knight.
So you're going to, if I'm to understand properly, value the second to the bottom over second to the top, or third to the top, technically.
He believes that the DiMartinos should be seen and not heard. And for wanting more, I've become greedy and selfish.
I believe that we have, 10 people here? Everyone needs to take more. Veswin took on advisory duties until you stepped up into the acting advisor position, and even still, I believe that she tries to cover ground.
Indeed. Keep in mind, I have no intention of giving away my position. However, there will simply be consequences.
Right. As I said, if it's any assistance to you, or at least how you're feeling, I personally, as a prince, believe that for having just been thrust into the position of being an acting advisor for this mess of a court we have here at the moment, you've been doing as well as I suppose anyone could be expected to, if not a bit above and beyond. You've brought matters to me that I frankly wasn't aware they were all too much of a priority or unfamiliar with entirely, and delivered upon those with very quick return and efficiency. And, well, if I'm to be completely honest, I think anyone would crumble if put into the advisor position at home. It's a role that requires I suppose, special type of brain. I think Mateus, even with a lifetime of training, would fortunately never make an advisor. I don't think that many would be able to uphold themselves. It requires such undying loyalty and the ability to, I suppose, be selfless to put the High Court above yourself in virtually every scenario. If I'm to remember a anecdote, Tavian almost missed the birth of his child because he thought that he was more required in the court. My father actually sent him away. He had to be manually issued to see his own son born. It is a interesting and demanding role. And
I see.
to, I suppose, wrap it to my point, apologies, this brain fog is immense.
It is quite all right, Your Highness.
I think out of anyone here, and a majority of the people I've met, of de Cortes back home, of even my own Viscounts, I think that you stand a better chance than any of them at being able to uphold that sort of role. So I don't mean it lightly when I say that I believe you have been doing well. I think there are ways to go, but in comparison to quite literally anybody, you're leagues ahead. Does that make sense?
I see. You flatter me, Your Highness.
You're worth flattering.
Thank you. Though truly, part of me wonders if this is all because he sees my father in me. I think he believes that I'm going to up and run away at a moment's notice. However, my feet are firmly planted here where I am required.
And why is that? What about Blood One? What about the court here? As you feel so confident about standing firm.
Because I believe, even for all of its flaws, that Court Blood One is one worth protecting. And I wish to uphold the honor and respect that has carried us through the centuries. Not simply because I am required to.
For me, Celica,
because I want to.
What holds me firm here, what keeps me from simply writing home and telling my father, or Tavian, whoever I could actually reach, that this school is a utter just mess of rule breakers and miscreants and mismanagement, and that we should perhaps draw the entire court home. What keeps me from that is the talent that I actually have seen. You know better than most that many of our court members are frankly disappointing. Many have not exactly lived up to the esteem that Bloodwyn demands, let alone the esteem that Everthorn requires. But the select few that have gone past the limits to, I suppose, show me exactly why they're here. Not even show Everthorn, but show me. People like yourself, Beswin. I'd even argue Rosalind. Her work on kingdom building, well, quiet and far away, so out of sight and out of mind, is outstanding. That is what keeps me glued here, to the court blood one we have here. That is why I do not send us home, run away, so to say. So what is your staple? Past just wanting to uphold our values. What in your heart is keeping you here? Because I have the exact same demands and requirements to uphold our court's legacy and respect and honor and trust and any word you wish to ascribe to it and fluff up with. But what keeps you here? Past what keeps everyone here. You in specific.
Put bluntly, I suppose, the desire to learn. The desire to see what was outside of Bloodwind. To make friends.
And have you succeeded at this so far? Making friends, learning, seeing the
I have
world.
learned quite so much. As for friends, I suppose I'll need to work harder.
You don't think that you've made any friends?
I think I have. But I feel I have lost some too.
Who have you made a friend of?
Lady Violet, Lady Blackwood, Lord Matthias, Duchess Waverly, Duchess Aqua.
Myself.
Yourself.
Look, our minds are even in sync. So I know you're truly a friend.
It would seem so.
And who do you think you've lost?
Cinder.
Are you upset by this loss?
I suppose there is an ache. And I cannot quite describe it.
The heart yearns for an idea. I think, well, if the book's anything to go off of, you and Cinder were quite close, am I correct to state?
I believe so.
And
Despite the friends I've made, I feel as though some look at me as though I have 3 heads. But he never did.
So he... Right, he saw past anything that... Any, I suppose, vanity of yourself. What else was positive about him?
He's curious, inquisitive. He likes nature. And when you hear him laugh, genuinely laugh, it's something else.
What do you think other people see out of him? when they look at him and see perhaps 3 heads, what do you think that those heads are? What do you think that they gather from him?
I suppose they believe he is malicious. That he's always plotting for something. But I cannot say with certainty that I know that anymore. But you just had to chip past the surface.
If I'm to advise the acting advisor, again, it's evident I don't know everything of Cinder. I can't pretend to know him as well as you do, or as well as Cassian very clearly does. There's no good people, and there's no bad people. It's at least Tavian's belief, and by extension mine. I think that there is good people with bad traits. There's bad people with good traits. Sometimes these things outweigh one another. My favorite philosophical question is it better to have good intentions with bad consequences, or bad intentions with good consequences? Perhaps you believe Cinder is well-intentioned, but his actions then come out poorly. Perhaps he has bad intentions, and of course then his actions come out as bad, but these things are difficult to judge. It's, I suppose, put short, everyone will see someone different. Everyone will understand differently. And people will present differently. Often the monsters wear masks. People are often presenting a different idea. People can often be horrible. I'm not saying Cinder is, but I'm saying that often you truly have to, perhaps, I guess the word would be soul search. Truly figure out if you know somebody. Truly figure out if you actually know what makes them tick. Figure out if what you know of them is just the idea that they have presented to you. Figure out if that's perhaps how they would act in a private room alone. Would they behave that way when no one else is watching? Mateus in front of me, to pull any random name, it's nothing specific, could open doors for me. He could, I suppose, fetch blood for me. He could polish my shoes as soon as he sees me. My idea of him would then be, he's an upstanding young man. Perhaps I can trust him. Meanwhile, would he open those same doors for you, or Violet, Sabrina, or Willow? Would he polish their shoes? Would he fetch them blood? If he was this upstanding young man, truly, then yes, he would. But the point is, people behave differently when they want something. You just have to figure out what they want, if anything at all. I wish I had a stronger point. Again, there's such an intense brain fog with this whatever.
No, it is quite all right.
That hopefully some of that makes sense and can assist you and help you feel a bit better, even.
It did.
Very well. You had matters you wished to discuss with me outside of this tangent.
Of course, I was going to say. I had a discussion with the headmaster about what was mentioned at the assembly, essentially the courts having to turn in any wrongdoings that they might have committed. And he has informed me that he has not received any from Court Bloodwyn. It seems he has received a book from every other court except for us. And I simply wished to know what our strategy was going to be. In your eyes, what do you believe is the best course of action?
The only incident I was aware of that we could report was the one that was reported today in this book. However,
indeed, the book.
I at least had trust that the situation was contained, and besides that, we don't have anything to confess to. It's a foolish punishment, and my plan was to, I suppose, discuss with the headmaster and relay that, yet again, we are being punished for not having any wrongdoing to confess, but the book now throws that off.
It does indeed.
I can make the argument that it was something I was going to bring up with him, but I haven't had the time to meet. That might be the best course now, but I'd be curious your thoughts.
Are you referring to what is said in here of Lady Darcy and myself?
No, the bit about Mateus and Aqua.
I see. Unfortunately, I am unsure what conversations that you have had. However, I can verify that it is true.
About Aqua and Mateus?
Yes.
How were you able to verify?
The Duchess herself told me. Since we are friends, she approached me about what she would do in a very hyper-specific theoretical scenario. And when I pressed her further, she admitted that Mateus had bit her.
When was this?
I believe it was a couple of weeks ago. I'm trying to recall when it was that Mateus had missived others in a panic. I believe it was that night. Then they tried to...
Pardon?
Indeed, their excuse for why Duchess Aqua had a bite mark on her arm was from a werewolf. I scarcely believed it myself, if it's any consolation.
Apparently, many have actually been informed properly, so that's interesting to know.
Were you not?
I was. I just believed that the list of people that were aware were much more limited.
I see. Well, if it is any consolation, I have not told anybody of this revelation.
Right.
I simply felt it would be better to obfuscate it, have them get their stories straight, and then no consequences could come from either court, considering it seemed Duchess Aqua was very intent on covering. However, it would seem that someone else got their hands on that information.
I've been told that she apparently told the entire demon court.
Is that so?
I'm not aware of the context, but yes.
Well, In any such case, I believe, now that we are in this position, it might possibly be best to admit to lesser crimes. Because unfortunately, it seems that the headmaster is aware that this took place. And, well, at the very least, he is, let me rephrase, he is aware that wrongdoings have been committed in each court. So I believe...
What lesser crimes would you suggest? Because as far as I'm aware, there was this one. The Mateus and Aqua incident, that is. And I cannot name any others. I don't know what else we've been violating.
I myself could not say. I've been quite strict with the rules myself. And anybody who did commit such an act would likely not come to me about it.
Right.
However, it is a catch-22. If we do not admit to any wrongdoings, and we try to maintain our innocence, then we will get a massive point reduction.
Precisely why I despise this method of punishment.
Myself as well. Rather than launch an actual investigation, he expects the information to be handed to him on a silver platter.
I think it only catches the minor infractions. I don't think that anyone that's put stakes at the end of my bed or robs me of my curtains, or... I would assume Cinder himself didn't even confess. I think the people that actually do need to be perhaps dealt with haven't been. Instead, we're punishing those who have... I don't even know a good example. I don't know crimes people are committing. The only people that are going to confess are people that haven't done anything grave. Took a hat off a snowman. Stole from one of the school shops. Nothing grave is going to come forward of what actually needs to.
Of course. I believe the idea is to admit to a lesser crime to avoid a larger punishment. However, as far as I'm aware, I was with Duchess Waverly at the time, and the headmaster informed her that Court Cerulean, for admitting their crimes, would only be getting detention, rather than a point reduction. And apparently, from Court Cinderloon's admissions, they did not get detention.
Ridiculous.
It would appear so. Unfortunately, the best course of action may just be to admit to the lesser crime to avoid a larger punishment.
The issue is I just don't know what our lesser crime is. I don't know what the headmaster expects.
Perhaps we should call a meeting. Unless, of course, you believe that no one would be willing to admit to a lesser crime in order for us to keep our lead.
Well, we're not going to have the lead if we lose points because we don't have anything to say. If you could take to attending perhaps individual meetings, people are more likely to confess with a private audience. Speak with whoever you are able and figure out if they've done anything that we can confess.
Of course. As you wish.
Is there anything else?
Well, you are already aware of the book.
Yes, unfortunately.
Indeed. Is quite slanderous towards every court.
Frankly, not of much of ours. It complains that Rosalind is too social and that I suppose that you aren't social enough. I don't think that's anything. The only scandalous thing is that of Mateus, but they view that more as a sea monster scorn than a blood one, which is interesting.
Well, it does involve personal matters of my own, which quite frankly, I am appalled by the insinuations that they are making. Regardless, it is quite disrespectful to be monitoring others' conduct, I suppose.
Oh, I agree. I just think that we could have been hit harder and we weren't.
Indeed.
The book itself is ridiculous. I wholly stand by that, but it's not as bad as it could be. I haven't read the full thing, but I did read the bit on Cinderlune virtually cheating. And I would argue that that is much more scandalous than how social our members are.
Indeed. I would also say that the section regarding Courts O'Mara is also quite lenient. It only brings up Lady Daphne possibly bullying Lord Paxton.
I think everyone does that, as unfortunate as it is.
Indeed. And apparently that Lady Luciala is attempting to steal from her lady, which involves Lord Paxton again. It does also give quite a bit of grace to Lady Katerina.
They misspelled her name, first off.
That's so.
Indeed.
Oh, you're right. And see, it is quite generous. Court Samara seems to run like a tight ship, so Katerina seems to be close with most of her court ladies and having impeachable trust in them. Part of me wonders who would benefit from creating such a pamphlet.
Those who can't subsist with the drama that we already have.
I believe so. Did Lady Rosalind? That is everything. However, I was simply going to ask if Lady Rosalind and Lord Mateus gave you any auxiliary information.
No, unfortunately not.
So it would seem. Well, regardless, I may attempt to look further into this. I'll have to keep a close eye on who may be monitoring our conversations. However, as reticent as I am to say, I do believe that I cannot rule out Lady Rosalind. Of course, she is a victim in the book herself, however, it could be a tactic to draw attention away from herself.
Certainly, I don't
because
believe
she
anyone's truly off the hook.
No. And she has monitored my conversations before.
Very well. If that's everything, I was due for another conversation, but I honestly am exhausted.
Of course. I will leave you be.
Very well. Thank you for your time.
Of course. And thank you for your advisory.
Of course. Likewise.
Have a good rest, Your Highness.
I will try. Curbton can wait. Rest cannot.